All right, so today I want to talk about how I almost became red pill or kind of went down the red pill rabbit hole when I was 19. I think, like most people who end up being red pill, it started with my childhood. I grew up in what I like to describe as the suburbs of the hood. I grew up in the nicer neighborhood in Compton, if you can imagine such a concept, if y'all believe in such a thing. Went to pretty terrible schools in elementary and middle school. They were full of other hood rat children. There's two important things you need to know about my personality and my demeanor. One, I have always struggled with challenging authority and I guess just standing up for myself, mostly because that's just how I was raised. You always taught not to talk back. I'm black. I think y'all could already kind of piece together how that went. So there's a combination of that, and I guess just maybe this is just my natural demeanor, but like always not feeling like I'm good enough or feeling like I was worthy in some way. So I tried to seek validation from others. So in middle school, there were many instances where I would like have a crush on a girl, and I was just always too pussy to actually approach them or speak to them because, yeah, it made me nervous. I was scared. And I was also like somewhat already a bit socially anxious already. I'm sure that there are other things that I've just forgotten about, but I do remember one specific event. A lot of people would call this my canon event. It actually felt like a damn movie scene. So basically, for an entire day, all of my friends and some people that I didn't even know were all telling me, this girl likes you, this girl likes you. Her name started with an S. We'll call her Sally. Sally likes you, Sally likes you. And I knew who Sally was. She was like the popular hot girl in school. I found her attractive, but obviously I wasn't going to speak to her. I was already fat. I knew she didn't like me, or I wasn't delusional enough to believe that she would have any interest in me, so I wasn't hearing it. But everybody was in my ear for an entire day telling me, like basically the entire school. It was actually insane. So I remember I was walking home. We all had to funnel through one of the two gates to exit the school. I'm walking home and Sally's there walking with her friend, and her friend comes to me and tells me, Sally likes you, you should go talk to her. Still wasn't buying that shit. I left, I walked home, and yeah, I kind of just tried to forget about it. And the next day, same thing is happening. Everybody's pressing me. Chris, you should talk to Sally. Chris, you should talk to Sally. Sally likes you. So I didn't believe it. I feel like I picked up on stuff like that pretty early on, mostly because I got bullied so much that it made me aware of when people were bullshitting me. So I used to sit at this table during lunch with a bunch of people I thought were friends, and they kept pressing me about it. And I was like, you know what? All right, let's just get this over with. So I walk up to Sally at the cool kids table, and I say, would you go out with me? I know that it makes no sense. Like, I've never met this person. I'm asking her to be my girlfriend. One, I didn't know anything. I was 12 maybe, and two, everybody's pressuring. I didn't know what else to do. I panicked. I just did it just to get it over with. And then she basically proceeded to say like, ew, no, you're fat. Why would I ever like you? Blah, blah, blah. And then like the whole school laughed at me. It legit felt like it was straight out of a movie scene. Like it was crazy. So yeah, that happened. And like, it didn't surprise me, but it still really hurt. Just, I guess, the public humiliation aspect of things and just being made fun of in front of the entire school. And also like I felt some like anger or resentment for the fact that like everybody pressured me to do it. Like I felt like I didn't have any choice. So like even though I knew it was all bullshit, like I still felt like I had to do it anyway. So yeah, that really hurt, and that like dwelled on my mind for a long time. And so fast forward through high school, I'm extremely socially anxious at this point. I like isolate outside of school. I didn't do anything besides play video games, and that pretty much was the trend starting from middle school. Like I had a few friends that I would hang out with here and there, but other than that, it was just straight Call of Duty. And then once it got to high school, oh no, Minecraft too. And then once it got to high school, it was just 2K, some Minecraft, and I didn't play as much COD after middle school. But yeah, but the point is, pretty severe isolation outside of school, and I did have I guess a more robust friend group, or a group of guys that I associated with on a day-to-day basis. They called us tree at our high school. We used to all sit down under this big tree by the basketball courts because that was the only place that had shade that wasn't in the lunch area that had the covering, the awning, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that was like, we had a group, maybe 20 people. It was a pretty solid group, and yeah, we ended up hanging out for the entire 4 years while we were in high school, and that was cool. I still talk to a lot of those guys to this day. But with regards to, I guess, my dating life, because it was non-existent. I barely could even talk to girls. There were a few girls that I was friends with by default, I guess. Mostly because like I had to sit next to them in class if the teacher just made us like switch up our seating arrangement, or they just so happened to their last name just so happened to be close to mine alphabetically, and so yeah, that just ended up being a thing. But like they weren't real friendships because I like literally never hung out with them outside of class. So it was just like kind of like a cordial thing. Like while we're in class, like we're cool. We could kind of joke around here and there. And that was only the only time where I didn't feel that awkward around a girl at all up until that point, because literally in my mind, girls were aliens. Like they were a different species than guys. And so like those limited experiences that I did have with any kind of interaction with girls was the only time where I got to see them as human. And so it just never really clicked for me. I thought there was just a few that were actually cool people and the rest were still aliens. I know it doesn't make any sense, but that's what I thought. Zero dating experience, never had a girlfriend, anything like that throughout middle school or high school. And then we fast forward to college, and at this point I feel like I'm behind. Like I have zero dating experience and zero social skills basically, and my social anxiety was pretty much at its all-time high. Even though I did have friends and I was very comfortable with the friend group that I did have, and we would hang out and that was fun, it was extremely difficult for me to expand beyond that if there were any people that were, I guess, yeah, just when I wasn't able to stay within my bubble, I was just extremely anxious and awkward. And what really forced me out of that was my roommate. He didn't do this intentionally, I don't think, at least not from my understanding. And we've had some conversations about that before. But yeah, I dormed in college, and my roommate was the starting point guard on the college basketball team, and he was a social butterfly to the umph degree. He was the type of person that would literally, when he didn't have anything to do, he would open the door, stand out in the hallway, and wait for somebody to walk by so he could talk to them. That's the kind of guy we're talking about here. So the complete opposite end of the spectrum for me, and I hated it. I hated every second of it. But he did force me to socialize a lot, and he would invite people over to the room and stuff. Sometimes that would be girls, and there would just be a lot of awkward, uncomfortable situations for me because I was like, oh, there's a human across from me, and I have to speak to them and make conversation and try to make them feel not awkward because I know I feel awkward. So yeah, it really surprised me that a lot of people didn't think I was as awkward as I was, because my coping mechanism for an uncomfortable situation is trying to like joke or like break the ice in some humorous way. And so a lot of the times people thought that I was like cool, calm, and collected because I'm like cracking jokes, trying to make things lighthearted. But really that was just for myself, to make myself laugh a little bit and just, I guess, get myself to feel a little comfortable, you know? That's kind of what I guess led me to socializing a bit more and actually learning how to speak to people. I still don't like doing it, but I'm somewhat competent now. But back to the whole red pill thing. While that was happening, like in those situations, he would force me to socialize. There was still a lot of other time, like college. Not nobody tells you this, but when I was in high school, they were like, we need to prepare you for college. You guys have this huge course load and all these projects and everything because we need to get you guys ready for college. Then I got to college and I was like, I have way more free time. Y'all lied. So yeah, with that free time, if I wasn't hanging out with my small circle of friends who I still talk to this day, I would be literally sitting in the dorm watching YouTube or playing 2K or both at the same time, and eating some bull jive like some Burger King. I remember the Burger King nuggets. There was 10 for $1.50, something like that. I was spamming those. I was getting the Taco Bell boxes all the time. I was going crazy with the food. So you combine the fact that I isolated pretty much as I could outside of the times where I was forced to socialize, with the fact that I was fueling my food addiction to my greatest capabilities. I was binge eating pretty much on a daily basis, and I was gaining weight at a very rapid rate. And so I ended up hitting my highest weight ever at 19 years old. I was around 320 pounds. I don't know exactly because I broke the scale at the doctor. I went to the doctor for my annual physical right around my 19th birthday, and they were like, the scale only goes up to 300. Your shit's not reading. You broke the scale. You need to do something about this. And I had always known that I was overweight. Like, I was overweight my entire life. But just hearing that number in my head, like 300 plus pounds, and I'm 5'9" for context, like that really sparked something in me. And that's when I decided to change. But up until that point, it had been nothing but just like frustration and feeling like I was behind in life and having no dating experiences and social anxiety. And so that led me to basically trying to figure out what was wrong with me and why I had no success with dating. And basically, I came across red pill content. I was watching Fresh and Fit. I was watching Kevin Samuels, and it just made me feel better about myself. It just basically put all the blame for my dating woes on women, and I was like, yeah, it is their fault. It's not me. And yeah, that just made me feel good about myself. And I also like excused myself from even trying to date because I was like, well, women suck, so why would I try to date? And so that was my mental justification or cope for me having no bitches. So that's pretty much how I went down the rabbit hole. It was just a combination of just getting bullied as a child, social anxiety, being overweight my entire life, and then also isolating and compounding the social issues that I did have. Also, don't have any sisters or really any female cousins around my age, so I basically had no interaction with any girls around my age at all, like pretty much most of my childhood. So that's just what led to me just not understanding that women were people, basically. Once I started to lose weight and try to figure that out, I did so many extreme dumb things to lose weight, but I have lost over 120 pounds at this point, and yeah, it's drastically changed my life. I'm still not where I want to be at yet. I still have like 30, 35 pounds to lose, but it's still miles away from where I used to be. And over the years, as I've lost weight and taken the steps to better my life, I've had some positive experiences with dating, and I basically built up confidence over the time and realized that women weren't all evil out to get me and make fun of me and destroy my confidence. I was just able to slowly debunk that mindset because I proved in my own life experiences that the stuff that I was hearing from the content just wasn't true, and it wasn't true in my experience and wasn't true in the experiences of other people that I knew and other guys, and just hearing their dating experiences, it was just so different from what I was told from the content. And I started realizing that this isn't serving me, and even if it were true, I'd be better off believing that it wasn't, but also it wasn't true in my experience. So why am I still consuming this content? And that's kind of how I got out of that rabbit hole. And I have some close friends that were pretty vehemently against the ideology and really poked a lot of holes in the arguments that were made and really opened my eyes to considering opposing arguments and just being, I guess, yeah, just not allowing me to stay in that echo chamber, so to speak, and actually forcing me to question my views. And yeah, so that's pretty much how I got out of that mindset, and now I'm engaged, and I love this woman, and I'm glad that I've been able to turn my life around in that way. It's just weird because it's been like so long, but I can vaguely remember being in that mindset and just how it was really just a reflection of myself, and I didn't like myself, and I didn't like where my life was going, and I guess I just wanted an outlet to just give me validation and let me know that there was something I could do about it, and two, I wanted to hear that it wasn't my fault, but it was. So yeah, that was just a tough pill to swallow, but also like I needed somebody to, I guess, breathe light into me and just instill that confidence in me and let me know that I was a good person and I was valuable to society in some way, or that I was funny, or that I was good at things. And yeah, I never really fished for compliments, and I didn't really speak about it much because I just thought it was awkward or uncomfortable to express that I'm not a confident person and that I like compliments and stuff. I feel like that's just weird, but it happened pretty naturally as I continued to improve my own life and lose weight and force myself to socialize more. And so eventually it kind of rewired my brain to look at the world in general in a more positive light and be more optimistic about human interaction. And so yeah, I was in a pretty bad mental space, and I'm glad I got out of it. So hopefully somebody can relate to something I said and just know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel as long as you keep walking down the path. All right, I think that's enough yapping for now.